That's headcanon right there. You quit that shit.
Listen, I get so little in my life. Let me have this.
Sad.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Anime Club After Dark, the podcast that delves into all things anime, manga, and otaku culture related. I'm your host, Alex, but you can call me Senpai, and joining me tonight, we have our czar of source material, John.
Hi.
And our chivalry of Shota's Shotaro. Woof. Okay. So tonight, we are going to be talking about a topic that John actually suggested a couple weeks ago. And that is the topic of genre and era-defining moments in anime. So we're going to be each of us have brought, I think, 3 shows or moments from shows that we're going to be talking about tonight that we think defined either the genre that show happens to be in or the era that the show took place in. So since you came up with this topic, I'm going to start with you. What do you got for your first moment or show?
All right, so first of all, why do you sound so surprised that I came up with the topic?
It's not surprise. It's just that it kind of is surprise.
You think I don't have good ideas?
Enough to this podcast, and we were surprised that you actually existed.
Whoa, that is not what I meant at all. That is fake news.
All right. Anyway, first show I want to talk about is going to be Ava, or what's the fucking full title?
Neon.
It's literally on the document. Use your eyes.
Before we started this fucking recording, we started doing fucking tongue twisters, and I can't talk anymore.
Yeah, rubber bacon. Fuck, I can't do it now.
See?
Too much pressure. Anyway, I should probably pull up the doc. All right, Neon Genesis Evangelion. I put this down on the list. What?
I love that pronunciation.
Is it not pronounced like that? How do you pronounce
You're
it?
like Evangelion.
Avon, like the fucking makeup.
Yeah, that's
Anyways.
Evangelion.
It's Evangelion. Like what? Evangelion. Isn't that how you would pronounce this?
I do it.
I mean, I pronounce it Evangelion.
Evangelion.
Yeah, not Vaughn.
Whatever.
So off topic.
This is a great start to this podcast.
This is not an anime podcast. This is a vocal coaching podcast.
All right, welcome to the podcast that teaches you how to pronounce Neon Genesis Evangelion, not Evangelion.
That's like the best tongue twister, that title.
So I wanted to bring this up because Ava, as I call it, because fuck saying the full name, was the very first anime I saw that when I was growing up on, I want to say it was Toonami. Or was it Adult Swim back then? I don't remember.
I believe it was Adult Swim.
All right. It was the
Don't
first...
quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it was.
It was the very first anime I watched that I was like, yo, this is not like the other anime I've ever seen. First of all, there's a lot of subtlety, a lot of undertones. There's a lot more grown up. I would consider it a very good entry into like what's that fucking seinen? Seinen, yeah. The step above shonen. Because prior to this, I had the typical Dragon Ball Z, Yu Yu Hakusho, Inuyasha, freaking Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon. Like,
how do you go from Pokemon to Evangelion? Didn't you like skip a step?
No, not it was just like, oh hey, this is the hour that anime or like these cool cartoons, because I didn't know it was anime yet, came on, and I just would watch whatever was on. Like Ghost in the Shell, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool, but this is not very adult. This is very dramatic and kind of boring. And I didn't really get Ava. Like, I watched a couple episodes because I was like, oh man, there's like giant robots fighting like these things. And I was like, yeah,
these things that are vaguely like kaiju?
Yeah, like, this is so cool. This is obviously a kid's show, right? Like, no, you're fucking wrong. As a child, I could not appreciate Ava. And it wasn't until I rewatched it years later, like during high school, that I was like, yo, this show is actually not for kids. Not really for kids. it really redefined anime for me when I was a kid. That anime isn't just for kids. It's not all just shonen and shonen jump shows.
I went and looked it up. It actually did air on Adult Swim.
It did. Okay, that might have been why.
From 2005 to 2006.
Wow, that was so long ago. Holy shit! How old was I? Like 10?
A little babby.
I was a little babby.
Wow, you were 10. You were way too young to watch Evangelion.
The show is not even rated mature or R or anything. What, I think it's rated 14 teen.
I think it's TV 14 is when it was on Adult Swim.
Yeah, so it definitely wasn't something that you should be watching when you're, a little babby, because a lot of it really flew past my head. Like, I didn't understand, like, why they were fighting. I didn't understand why Shinji wouldn't get in the goddamn robot. I didn't, like, and all the, like, super crucial moments of, like, beautiful subtleties. Like, what's her face? Red hair girl. I don't even remember the character names.
Asuka.
When Asuka was, like, bathing in the fucking broken house, and, like, all the things that you should know when you're grown up, and you're like, wow, this actually is a pretty beautifully written show. I could not appreciate things like that. And
why would you even watch Evangelion as a child? Like, it's not even interesting on the surface level.
Because the very first episode was, oh shit, this dude gets in a fucking robot, has like arms, it looks really cool, and he punches the shit out of these things that kind of look like angels.
And he gets vaguely kidnapped by an attractive older woman.
Yeah, I didn't really.
You had low standards when you were a child.
Wow. I just didn't know. And again, like, this is why I wanted to bring it up, because I feel like everyone else.
I mean, I get what he's saying though. Like, Eva is one of those things where if you were like me and obviously John, and you watched it way younger than you should have, it's something that you can go back years later and rewatch it and find a lot of stuff that you missed. It's like,
yeah,
this was not for children.
Well, another example would be like if you want to compare it to like Cowboy Bebop. I saw Cowboy Bebop when I was a kid. But it's vaguely like, oh, look at this cool, like, thief kind of dude. There's a cool story, and it's just enough action where you're like, yeah, you don't really care. And I just thought it was cool to watch, and it wasn't until, again, years later, I rewatched it. I was like, yo, this show is actually really dope. It's super deep, and, like, God, the ending.
And that soundtrack!
Yeah. So I definitely just wanted to bring that up, just because, like, it was my very first adult show that wasn't overly adult, like Elfen Lied or some shit.
Yeah. It's certainly genre defining in terms of like mech shows, because if you think about it, before Ava, a lot of mech shows like Gundam, for example, focused very heavily on political themes, whereas Evangelion focused almost exclusively on psychological themes.
Yeah, and unlike Gundam, where it's pretty clear-cut, like, who's bad guy, who's good guy. Obviously, the main hero is the good guy, right? He's the one fighting all the baddies. Ava doesn't... At first you think like that, but it really gets into your head, like, why are we here? What are we doing?
I love how Ava just came out of Hideki Anno's, like, existential crisis he had in middle age. It's
actually?
Like, oh, fuck. Why am I here?
Yeah, it's fucking deep, man. It still blows me away. Like, the show has so much more to it, and I think other people should watch it. They could appreciate it more. It's aged pretty well.
Yeah, except for its animation in the last couple episodes. That didn't age very well. It didn't age very well for the time it aired either.
Yeah, but we're talking about the subtleties, the story, the Shinji getting the goddamn robot.
And thankfully it was sort of the series was redeemed by End of Evangelion to an extent. It's definitely one of those things that I think is really good to go back and watch if you haven't, or if you watched it years ago, which I think is a good thing that it's coming out on Netflix soon, very soon.
Is it really?
Yes, actually, by the time this episode goes up, it will be out on Netflix.
Oh shit!
And
Netflix, please give us money.
Yes. And I'm looking forward to rewatching it. Natai and I are going to be doing a whole series, episode by episode series review on it. So that should be fun. He and I are gonna, because he and I both watched this years and years ago, and we're rewatching it now that we're older and wiser, hopefully. And we can hopefully it's one of those things where you rewatch it and you see more than you saw the last time you watched it, and that's really cool. There's so few anime that are like that.
Anything to add, Show? Didn't you love Ava? What is this?
I don't know. I don't recommend Ava.
What?
If you didn't watch it, if you didn't enjoy it, don't come back to it.
Oh.
Because it's overrated. I think the themes are, like, you could get the themes other places. It's not that unique from Ava. I don't think it's that amazing. Whatever. And also, it just takes... Okay, the main issue is that it takes 24 episodes to tell a relatively simple message, which takes too long, girl. Too long. Cut that down to 6 episodes.
Oh,
I don't have the patience for that.
I'm just saying, you never forget your first.
Yeah, I don't have
That's
any
true.
nostalgia value for this because I didn't watch this as a child, so...
Oh.
I have a question, John. Did you watch Eva before you watched Gundam? Any Gundam?
No, I definitely saw Gundam before I saw it. I mean,
Okay.
what?
I was just curious, is like because if Eva is the bar for mecha, like that's kind of regarded as a pretty high bar.
No, I saw like Zoids and stuff before I saw Eva.
Oh,
Like,
okay. Well, I'm just curious. Because most people would watch something like Gundam or Zoids. That's a name I haven't heard in a long time. Before going to Evangelion. All right, Show, what do you have for the first one you want to talk about?
Okay. I have a wonderful anime that has set the bar for the sports genre. Now, a sports show needs 3 things. First, it needs hype. Second, it needs good characters. And third, it needs fan service boys. And the only anime that has all 3 is obviously Haikyuu. And yeah. So I'm looking at the most popular sports anime on my anime list. And obviously Haikyuu is number 1 by rights. But number 2, we have Kuroko no Basket, which I do agree with that it's really popular. So I think this reflects the popular opinion of the general community. But the thing about Kuroko no Basket, where it can't compete with Haikyuu, is that it only meets like 1.5 out of 3 of the criteria. Like, it doesn't have good characters. Like, they're all just like literal robots. Yeah. And the boys are only half cute. Because, like, I feel like it's like some people like the boys.
You seen the fan art?
And some people don't. Oh, well, it has a very large fan base, so fine. I'll give it a 2 out of 3, but, you know, I'm personally not a fan of that art style. And then down the list at number 3, third most popular sports anime, we have Free, which does not meet the hype.
That's all fan service.
That does not meet the criteria of being hype. But it does meet the criteria of having good characters, debatable, and hot boys. So, you know, other sports shows can give you a little bit of this and a little bit of that, but only Haikyuu can give you everything. So, what can you really say? Oh, also, number 4, I just wanted to say, is Yuri on Ice, which...
Well, that's some foreshadowing for something I'm going to talk about.
so
I'm gonna shit talk Yuri on Ice.
you're not gonna shit talk it, or
I will.
Okay,
I will set
say,
you ablaze
I can say
right now.
Yuri on Ice does meet all 3 criteria, but I think Haikyuu does the criteria better. So, you know,
I would certainly agree with you on the hype portion for sure.
I think the hype is better in Haikyuu. There are hotter boys in Haikyuu. And what was the other criteria I said?
You don't even remember your criteria.
I like the characters more in Haikyuu. Don't demean me and my criteria.
You laid out the criteria, bitch.
I did.
I think Kuroko no Basket was way more hype than Haikyuu, because they did like stupid ass fucking.
No, yeah, I agree.
Dragon Ball Z with basketballs.
That's
That's
why
basically
it
what
was so good.
No, I totally agree. I love the hype. The problem with Kuroko is that it doesn't have the balance of everything, you know.
Well,
like
and to your credit, Show, I would actually agree with you. With Kuroko no Basuke has very cardboard cutout type characters.
I feel like they're like even the voice actors are just literally no emotion. All of them are the same character. There's no emotion and just like nothing.
All right, but who watches a sport anime for anything other than them just doing the sport? Like, come on, guys.
See, no, but like, see,
People who watch
if you
Free.
look at the numbers, John, a lot of people watch sports anime for more than just the hype, which I
So
just
passionate about
stated.
this.
Look at the
Wait,
data, John.
I have a question. So, in these criteria you laid out,
Yes.
you mentioned hot guys. What about sports anime that are all girls?
They're not on
'Cause
the
those
list.
do exist.
They don't make the top 10.
Oh, okay. Okay,
messed
so
up.
so what you're saying is a fucking sport centered around a girl's sport can't qualify
Okay,
as a good
fine.
sports anime.
I was lying. I think number 6 is Chihaya Furu, which is debatable whether that's a sport or a game. So
I would say that's a gambling anime, if anything else.
that's not a gamble. That's so rude. Did you just demean the sport of I don't know what they're playing, but did you just demean that sport?
Are they playing shogi? Isn't that
No!
what it said?
No,
They're playing like a card game with poetry where they
What?
pick the card.
Oh, yeah,
I don't know.
that one.
It just seems like it's something that you could gamble on. I don't know.
Wait, you
All
haven't
right.
watched it? It's really good. I recommend it.
Oh, everyone says it's really great. I've never gotten to it before.
Well, okay, in the case of female sports shows, then the hotness of the female characters are swapped for in that criteria section for the
Chihaya
men.
Furu
Yeah.
is all female?
I mean, no, but just
Oh.
the only relevant character was the female lead. Everyone else doesn't matter.
It's like I could have swear in clips I've seen there are male characters.
So I only think that sport anime is basically divided into 2 categories: fan service and just sport. So I don't really enjoy
point.
sport animes. I haven't seen one that was just like, yo, that's great. Like even Kuroko no Basket is like, I only watched it because my brother-in-law was watching it, and I was like, what is this? And I watched. I was like, yo, this is Dragon Ball Z on basketball.
With fuck it on a basketball
It
court.
was
So have you not seen Haikyuu?
Oh, I read it. Yeah, I read a little bit of it, but it's
Oh, but see, the thing is, the manga doesn't have the fan service portion.
The
Yeah.
manga also has really crappy art style in comparison to the anime.
yeah.
that's
But
what I'm saying.
reading the manga was just like I was like, oh wow, this is actually like very sportsman, like it's very sports orientated. It wasn't because based off
Yeah.
of like my research on at anime conventions, people seem to love the show, and I think the fangirls, all the fans of the series, are just frothing at the mouth for like fan service. And it's a shame because it's like it's good. It's a good manga.
Did you just
Well, and
shame
it's a
Fujoshi?
No.
I knew you were going there. I mean, it's a good credit to this show though, because like Show says, it's really hype. Like, okay, so I watched Haikyuu on his recommendation that it was a good sports anime, and I was not disappointed by the first and second season, and I went into the third season knowing that it's 10 episodes long, and the entire season is one game.
Wow.
Is just one game that they play for 10 episodes. And my immediate reaction to that was, oh god, they've ruined Haikyuu. But then I watched and I'm like, they actually did a really good job with this. And like, it would be so easy pacing wise to fuck that up. But they didn't. And that's what makes it a really great sports anime.
Not hype enough.
What do you mean?
I don't
You
know,
didn't
the
even
third
watch
season
the
was pretty
anime.
hype.
What are you talking about? You didn't see that hype animation.
I mean, you're right. You're right. Still not hype enough.
But I will.
Would you not
concede-
agree? Would you not agree with me, John? If you found out that they were going to do 10 episodes devoted to a single match, you would immediately think, "Oh God, they're going to fuck up this pacing."
No, because if it's one match and it's 10 episodes, that means it's a really good arc. You know, obviously this is the arc that matters the most.
Yeah, but like how? But how can you cover a match in 10 episodes? Wouldn't that get like too slow?
No, not if it was a hype ass arc and every single
Well,
person.
Wouldn't that be
playing-
like Death Note, where like they're having monologues for 10
Oh,
minutes?
God. Yeah, maybe.
See, they didn't do that in Haikyuu. It was all action, all movement.
And the animation in the anime is great. Like it never suffers from any kind of like quality issues, or it never seems like they're cutting corners, which is another thing that makes it a great sports anime, because there's so many sports anime that start out really good, and then like halfway through it's like we've shot our animation budget, time to draw stick figures.
All right, maybe I'll watch it. Maybe I won't. I'm probably not gonna.
I recommend it, and the only reason I started watching it was because Show recommended it to me.
And like I said, I don't watch very much sport anything, like anime. Regardless of the sport.
And it's also worth mentioning that Show doesn't really like sports in general, like IRL, but he tends to like sports anime.
Yeah.
It's for the fan surface, isn't it?
It probably is.
Well, I mean, I watch Yamushi Pedal, and if you've seen the boys in that, good lord, they're ugly. So.
Is that the one where they bicycle around?
Yes.
Yes.
The one where they
have a high-pass OP, though.
They have really good OPs, yeah.
Yeah. One of the, it wasn't Bunkum's Chicken. It was whatever. It was a J-rock band that I listened to. And apparently it was one of their openings. Anyway, moving on. Alex.
Yeah, so I'm going to actually skip to the one I had in the middle because Show mentioned it already. I want to talk about Yuri on Ice.
Oh, God.
Speaking of sports anime, the reason I want to talk about Yuri on Ice is the fact that, number one, I think, as Show mentioned, it does kind of tick all those boxes for a pretty damn good sports anime. It has great animation, it's got good characters, it's got good character development in it, and they look pretty good. But in addition to that, Yuri on Ice focuses on figure skating, which not the most, shall we say, masculine of sports, but they pulled it off in a way where they portray it as epic as just about any other sport is portrayed in anime. And I thought, number one, they did a great service to the figure skating community, because there were a lot of actual figure skaters who ended up watching this anime who didn't watch anime at all, which I think is a great credit to how good they portrayed the sport that they did. But also, I've been really figuring out how to actually talk about this. So the anime features a gay romance in it. Now, it's not the first gay romance that's ever been featured in anime, and I'm assuming won't be the last, but Show can back me up on this because he and I have talked about this. There are so many gay romances in anime where they're portrayed, and I mean specifically like male romances, that are portrayed as, for lack of a better term, toxic or very exploitive.
Honey,
and
continue.
I'll let you finish. And Yuri on Ice didn't really do that. It portrayed like a legitimate, realistic gay romance.
Yeah, realistic, wholesome romance between a coach and his student.
I knew you were going to do that. But they are both of age.
Still, it's a difference in power dynamic.
I'm actually going to agree with Show here. That's completely true.
I mean, yes, there is a power dynamic, but at the end of the day, they're both adults. That's also something that was refreshing about this. It's not a sports anime that takes place in a high school. It's a sports anime with professionals that are adults.
That is nice.
Yeah, I mean, there's
and
so
like,
many
oh my
sports
God.
anime.
We skipped
Show, because you've watched so many sports anime. There are so many of them that take place like in high school or middle school or whatever, and it's like some school club or whatever. And it was just so refreshing to see a sports anime focused on professionals.
Yeah, like, first of all, the stakes are higher. Like, who cares about winning the high school championship? Like, who gives a fuck? But when in the Olympics, like in Yuri on Ice, like, I actually care about the stakes. And as well, I don't have to sit through like 5,000 training montages of you going from being a baby in diapers to learning how to roll the ball around. In Yuri on Ice, he's already a professional, so he already has all the skills. So we can just skip the bullshit and get straight to the blades on the ice.
Yes. I mean, that was great because so many sports anime where like the first 5 or 6 episodes is basically like a fucking training montage, like you said. And I mean, they're already professionals, so you don't have to sit through that with Yuri on Ice.
Mm-hmm.
So,
which helped its pacing immensely, I would say.
So my only thing is like, if we're talking about sports anime, like the high school one, like I understand, but it's just that like Koshien, for example, for baseball in baseball in high school, Koshien is like the major leagues. You know, like if you win here, you're a fucking legend, and you're gonna get signed off to a national team. And I think that in itself is super hype, so I don't mind it. But you're right, I don't like the.
But why would you watch the Koshien when you could watch the national team?
Because it's high school. It's like, why do people like college sports? It's not like as good as professional, but
because there's a lot of money involved in it.
Yeah, and we're not gonna go into that anyway. It's nice to see the people who are like not yet there yet, you know, but they're competing to get there, the up and comers,
and they're not getting paid to do it.
Yeah,
they're doing it because they love it, whereas a professional is getting paid to do it.
That's why I feel like when at least it comes to like college and high school stuff, it makes sense to me. The ones that I don't like are obviously the she's only in middle school, but he's a fucking genius at shogi or whatever. What's it? The Ryu whatever thingy? I hated that show. Like
the Ryu's work is never done.
Yeah, that thing.
Where he had a fucking harem of lolis
because
he was good at shogi.
Yeah, and I was just like, this show sucks. Like, it's literally just pandering to freaking pedophiles, and the lolis aren't even that good, and this dude is not even like, I don't even care about shogi. Like, what are the stakes here? He's just some dude who's ranked #1 and he gets a harem of like little girls. Like, I don't care. Where are the stakes?
I have to say that I watched that show. I dropped it, but I started out watching it, and even as someone myself who is a self-admitted lolicon, I found the lolis in that fucking annoying as fuck.
Yeah, I watched it too because I think it was Chinoda that was like, "Yo, there's lolis," and I was like, "Yo, what?" Then I watched like the first 3 or 4 episodes, and I was like, "This is boring. This is like, what am I getting out of this? Nothing." Anyway.
Yeah, but you get what I'm saying with the whole professional sports thing. It's somewhat unique in anime, and that's part of the reason why I loved Yuri on Ice. Despite what you guys think, I still think it's a much healthier gay romance than you see. So many gay romances in anime are rapey.
Honey, big fish in a small pond.
That's a good way to put it. Oh man. Go watch Yuri on Ice.
See, I watched Yuri on Ice, right? And you guys remember I was watching it, and I was giving you like a episode by episode update of like how I was like, yeah, this is whatever.
Remember.
And then it was getting hyped because, yeah, you're right. I was hyped for the for him getting better, and I kind of just feel like the romance was implied. It wasn't very explicit. And
# not confirmed.
I mean, we don't know what happened, right? And a lot of it, I just don't feel like it's a romance anime. You know what I'm saying? Like, sure, you can imply that Yuri developed feelings for Victor. We can imply a lot of things here, but it was not explicit. That's all I gotta say. It's a good show. You should watch it.
I agree, John. Is it even a gay romance?
Right?
If no one was gay?
It's an implied gay romance.
No, that's headcanon right there. You quit that shit.
Listen, I get so little in my life. Let me have this.
Sad.
You're right.
All right, we're gonna move on unless you guys have something else to say about Yuri on Ice.
Nah, John, please, because I have a lot to say about the next one you're gonna talk
about.
All
right, so the next show I want to bring up is Naruto. Like, Naruto was literally the first shonen anime that I watched that I was like, yo, it has everything I want in a shonen. Right? Like, prior to Naruto, you know, I had Bleach, I had One Piece, I had Dragon Ball Z, Yu Yu Hakusho, you know, all the works, right, from American Toonami. And they're all alright, you know, but nothing quite stuck to me like Naruto did. It's great. It's a great shonen. It's about the power of friendship, you know, struggling to get Sasuke back from the dark side. There's a lot of comedy. There's bits of drama here and there. There's good character development, hype-ass music, It's a
lot of filler.
But the filler was enjoying to me, at least more so than like Bleach's filler or One Piece fillers. Like those are just like, oh, please fucking hang me.
I still maintain that Naruto's very first filler episode is the best filler episode in anime history.
Yeah, the one where they try to find out what's under Kakashi's mask.
Because so Kakashi's mask is still to this day the best filler episode in anime history.
So, just speaking of all the shonen that I've ever seen prior to watching Naruto, there are some right now that, I understand that people like My Hero Academia. I don't know why. It's not as hype as Naruto.
Green Naruto, you mean?
Is that what that is? I don't know.
That's what people call the main character, Green Naruto.
I can definitely see that because the beginning of Naruto is very typical shonen, but once it jumps into like Shippuden, when they do the time skip and go into Shippuden, shit gets more real. There's more actual like shit that happens. People die. There's consequences.
Hell, I would say even in the first part of the anime, after the Chunin exam arc, starts to get real.
Yeah, and there's actual consequences to things that happen in the universe. It's not all just, no, the bad guy beat us, arc, but within this for friendship, and it's like, God, stop. Like, no, there are no stakes here. No one's gonna get fucking bodied. Anyway, fucking. Yeah. I don't want to shit on My Hero Academia because I'm not sure who here likes it. I know Alex doesn't.
Not me.
Oh, okay, yeah. Who likes that? Whatever.
Shinoda.
Yeah, he would. But Naruto. We're going to talk about a good show. We're going to talk about Naruto. How it has just every flavor that you would want in a shonen. It keeps you on edge. And yeah, some of the fillers get fucking tough because it's like, oh God, I just want to go. It's been like 5 weeks. Can I get back to the main battle? But so that's why I say go read the manga.
Yeah, we left this main battle like right in the middle, and for 5 weeks we've been trying to find the spiciest curry in the world. Can we please go back to the battle, please?
Which is why I say we should just go ahead and go read the manga. It's so good.
It's very well drawn too.
I read Naruto. I used to watch Naruto and also Shippuden, but I started reading it after Shippuden, and I just was always on the edge of my seat waiting for the next chapter. And I continued to watch Shippuden until they finished it because, why not? And yeah, definitely the manga is way superior because, no bullshit fillers. But it's just, every part of it just hooks me. It's a show that I will probably never forget as a really good shonen. I don't have to rewatch it. Well, I've rewatched some parts of it because hype-ass battles. And, the overall messages in the show, when Naruto inherits the Will of Fire. Never give up, never surrender it. It's just like, it's like the moment in Dragon Ball Z when Goku's like, give me your spirit, and then you raise your hands up like, take my spirit, Goku. It's like, you feel like that every fucking step through Naruto's journey through his life. And that's why it's hype as fuck. It's a great shonen.
Yeah. I would say if there's one major criticism that I have of Naruto, it's in Shippuden because the middle part of Shippuden kind of starts to get repetitive.
Yeah, it drags.
It's just like, go find this person, go find that person, go find this person, go find that person. And it's like, but then once they get to like the final Shinobi War arc, that fucking shit is hype.
Yeah, it is a very rare show that ends really fucking well.
It's a long-running shonen that actually ran through its entire length and had probably the most the most satisfying ending that it could have had.
Yeah, because
given what it had already done.
Like when I compare it, like Yu Yu Hakusho was okay at the beginning, drags in the middle, and the ending is pretty shitty. I didn't like the ending because it kind of just wraps up, Bleach's ending was super shitty because they should have ended
because it basically got canceled.
Because Kubo Tite should have fucking ended it like as soon as the main bad guy was defeated and everything was done. But no, he needed more money, so that's. Then even when he came back to writing it, he'd like write for a week or two, then take another fucking month. Anyway, we're not talking about shitty fucking shonen. Bleach may have been my first, but damn, did it disappoint. Whereas Naruto. At first I was adverse to it because I was like, it's a long running shonen and I'm not in the mood for another fucking Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z also is vastly overrated. I think the original Dragon Ball was way better than Dragon Ball Z, and GT we don't even speak of. But Dragon Ball Super and the remakes and all that stuff, it's hype. It's just combat orientated, so it's I see the appeal. I know a lot of people who watch it like it. I like it too. I just, come on, man, let it end.
Well, another one of the great things about Naruto is that it had an enormous cast of secondary characters that all of them seemed to get fully fleshed out throughout the course of the series.
Yeah.
And that was so cool to watch. Like, you had people like Gaara and fucking Rock Lee.
Yeah.
My God.
Oh God, Rock.
That tragic boy. You have Neji. Fuck you, Kishimoto. It was fun watching all these characters develop so fully over the course of the show, and they all felt like, except for Neji, got
spoilers,
got a satisfying conclusion. Shut up! I will never forget Masashi Kishimoto for this. Fuck you, my boy.
Yeah,
look what they've done to my boy.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's actual consequences in this shonen. It's not all just fucking rainbows and pancakes and butterflies and unicorns and whatever happy lovey.
People actually get fucking murdered in this show.
Yeah.
Like, they don't, it's not like you got knocked out, you can
Yeah,
try
and
again
then, like,
next
you know-
time. No, I put a fucking knife through your skull, bitch. You're
Yeah,
dead.
and like, you know, Pain, Jiraiya, like, come on, dude. Oh, God, I want to rewatch. I'm gonna reread Naruto. That's what I'm gonna do.
Reread Naruto for the beginning. I will say, I mentioned this on a previous episode of the podcast. I did go back and start to rewatch. I wanted to rewatch like the first 15 episodes of Naruto, which covers like the like, I think it's like a 4-episode introductory arc, and then the first mission that they go on, where they meet like the world's most effeminate trap. And I rewatched that, and I thought, God, if I had to start watching this now from the beginning, knowing nothing about what came afterwards, I'd probably drop it. Like, because the first 2 arcs of Naruto are very typical show.
Yeah, it's pretty rough, but you know what got me through that? The fucking hype ass music.
Oh yeah, that's one thing that Naruto should be definitely credited for. Its soundtrack is fantastic.
Like, the battle music specifically, like, yeah, it's fucking great. And it's super shinobi-like, you know? Super ninja-like.
And all of its OPs are hype.
I would agree, yeah. All of its OPs are pretty fucking hype.
And one of them was even used to create the Filthy Frank anime.
Da, 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 na. Na, na, na.
Oh, Filthy Frank, we miss you.
Rest in Franku.
Yeah, no, like, if you're looking for a long-running shonen that's obviously ended to get into, Naruto's a great choice.
Yeah.
And of the old big 3 that we had of Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece, I'll take Naruto any day.
Yeah. Show. Any input?
Show.
I don't watch Naruto.
Have you even watched
my
Naruto
God.
show?
No, never.
How dare you? Such a good
Ew.
shonen.
It's way too mask. Gross.
All right.
Yucky. I say that, but I like watch shonen a lot, so.
You do.
How about you watch some good shonen?
I love how you said the old big 3, because the new big 3 is like Fairy Tail, Black Clover, and I don't know what they're.
MHA.
Probably MHA.
Oh, but it's not that long running.
Well,
yeah.
it's 4 seasons.
Black Clover
so
is
far.
trash. Fairy Tail.
The thing that cements Black Clover as one of the big 3 is how much filler it has, and how it refuses.
that's for sure.
How it refuses to stop airing.
That's true. And there was filler in MHA.
Not as much.
No, not admittedly not as much, but there was filler. And everyone said this anime adaptation will never have filler. I'm like, okay,
I remember like 1 episode of filler.
that's still filler.
You know, I'm actually shocked that Fairy Tail is still airing. What? I thought.
It's in its final season.
Oh, okay.
Quote unquote final.
Well, it's because the manga ended like freaking a year or 2 ago, right?
Yeah, but the filler never ends,
yeah, but-
John.
Oh.
The filler never
Just
ends.
like Bleach.
It's ending in the same way Gintama is ending.
I mean,
Never.
no, Gintama ends, and then then the producers come back and are like, "Hey, stop making fun of us. Here's more money. Make more." And then they start off with the new year and they apologize. We're so sorry for making fun of producer San. God. Gintama's not even a shonen. It's just a comedy. It's pop culture comedy. God.
In a shonen veneer.
Yeah, but they even poke fun of it like that too. It's like, isn't this supposed to be a fucking shonen? Where the fuck is my power up? Gintama's a good show. It's funny.
But speaking of shonen show.
Yeah, speaking of shonen, an actually good one that has defined the genre is Hunter x Hunter 2011,
Boo.
which has
I'm genuinely curious
no
as to why
filler.
you picked the. I'm genuinely curious as to why you picked the 2011 one over the original, but I think it's because of the filler, right?
Well, no, I don't think the original had filler either, but like it wasn't really well produced, so it was not that great. But Hunter x Hunter has no filler. The thing about Hunter x Hunter is that it's like 150-ish episodes, and it doesn't pad those episodes. Like it has a consistent pacing. It doesn't speed up and slow down to like, you know how they cheaply do that so that, you know, you get the cliffhanger at the end and then the entire episode is just like bullshit. No, it does a good consistent pace. It doesn't add these random arcs that have no meaning, and it's long. So, and you know I like it long. So, I think it's not only is it unique in the fact that it was able to do such a long run without having to do filler, but it also did it extremely well. So, I really don't think... I feel like Hunter x Hunter... The only problem with Hunter x Hunter is that it didn't fully adapt the manga, but the manga isn't even finished, right? And it never will be. So it did the best it could do with the source material it had. So literally, I feel like Hunter x Hunter is shonen goals, and nothing has ever or likely will ever be as good as Hunter x Hunter.
All right, so
yeah.
I watched Hunter x Hunter as well, and I really did not like the very beginning of it. I was like, whatever.
I hear a lot of people complain about that, but I don't.
Really?
I
You
never
liked the
saw a
beginning?
problem with that.
Like, the reason I started like liking the show was when it got to the Ant King arc, and I was like, yo, this is actually hype. Like, the fight scenes were great. There's consequences.
Okay, but like, I loved the first arc. Like, it was like a game show, you know, where they had
On
to
the
do
island,
like
yeah.
games, or like competitions. I thought it was really interesting and fun, and it was really exotic and all these new things and new places.
Yeah, I just really didn't care. Just like how I still don't care about the side characters or the supporting characters. They don't have much of...
the side characters.
Yeah.
But who cares about the side characters anyways?
The supporting characters are important to make the story better, and in Hunter x Hunter, the support characters like Killua, it's just not good.
What? How? First of all, Killua is not a support character.
He's a support character. In the beginning, he is.
A main character. He is like 50% of the screen time.
Anyway, like Killua's...
Kahlua is a cream liqueur.
Killua is a OP-ass motherfucker that we don't really understand why he's OP, and he also has a brother, sister? Younger brother? I don't... Did we
Younger
have...
brother.
brother, sister.
It's a younger brother.
That sounds like something
Okay.
from the South right there, a brother sister.
No, wait, what?
What?
He said he has a brother sister, and I'm thinking that sounds like some
Well,
concept
no, he has
from
a
the
younger
South.
brother/sister that's also super OP and can grant wishes or some shit. Anyway, I don't...
Were you even paying attention?
No, not very much.
I don't understand because like we got so deep into Killua's psyche for so many episodes. So I don't understand how you don't think we understand him, because there was so much time devoted to his mental breakdowns.
Yeah, it's because I didn't care. I was like, I don't really care about this character and his effect
Oh my
on
God, I don't
Gon.
know why. It's just like me and Evangelion. It's I don't care. So I don't care if you
Hey.
expand on your psychotic
See.
thing for 24 episodes if I don't care in the first place.
I cared more about the Ant King, and like I wanted the Ant King to become the main character than I did Gon. Not gonna lie.
Oh, no, I didn't like Gon either.
Yeah, Gon is.
But I would say I did like the Ant King more than Gon, but I like Killua more than the Ant King. So
No, Ant King deserved his own anime. Deserves to live in his own happiness and play. Anyway.
Well, I hope you feel safe that your opinion is in the majority, because I've heard that those particular complaints a lot.
Really?
I don't specifically have them personally.
Wow, that's so funny because I never looked anything up. This is so. I guess the majority is.
You're such a mainstream hoe.
So mainstream.
You're such what do you call it? A cattle?
Is that
sheep? Flock.
Yeah.
You're a flock man.
Whatever. Watch a better shonen like Naruto.
LOL.
Alex, have you seen Hunter x Hunter?
I have nothing to add to this. I have not seen Hunter x Hunter, and yes, I will pronounce the X. Fuck you.
No, it's Hunter x Hunter. How dare you?
I don't care. There's a fucking X.
Oh my god.
Hunter multiplied by Hunter.
Hunter squared.
Hunter squared. Yes, I will call it Hunter squared from now on.
Yeah, you're not missing out on much. I definitely think if you like shonen, you'll probably like this show. It's pretty good.
I've seen like animation comparisons with the show from its original to the 2011 remake, and if I were gonna watch one, I'd watch the 2011 remake because the animation, like, there's no comparison.
Oh, dude, the fights are fucking hype.
Oh yeah. Oh god.
That's pretty much all I know. I don't know any of the story or anything. It's just I've seen animation comparisons because there was a
fucking
remake.
rock paper scissors that bitch, man.
Oh my god, fucking dodgeball that bitch, honey.
Oh, Alex.
Oh my god, and how could you not like an anime? How can you not think that anime is the best when it has a gay clown? That's just, I don't understand how you could.
I mean, ever since watching it,
and it's
I
not
have a
me.
thing with
I'm not the gay
clowns.
clown. There's actually a gay clown.
Yeah, there's that gay clown who has a super OP power that
I don't understand why you think all their powers are OP. First of all, it's a very I was gonna say hard magic system. No pun intended, but also intended, but not intended. It's a very hard magic system where everything is explained and there's no bullshit. Like, everything makes sense. So I don't know how you can have an overpowered power when it's part of the system that they already explained.
Yeah, that sounds like a convenient excuse for poor writing.
It's literally the opposite
does,
of convenient, because it can't be convenient because they already told you.
I gotta go with John as it's been described. It sounds like a very convenient excuse for poor writing.
Anyway,
What do you mean?
no. Just focus on the hype fight scenes in Hunter x Hunter. That's all you need to care about.
No, the magic system is so good. I don't know what's your. That's like literally one of the selling points for me is the magic system.
Really?
I loved it. I loved it. So
All right.
good.
Anyway, enough of this. We're going back to Alex now.
Yeah. All right, so I want to talk about the Monogatari series, but a very specific part of the Monogatari series. So the Monogatari series as a whole is pretty fucking great, especially in terms of stuff like character development and dialogue and monologues. But I want to talk about specifically Koi Monogatari, otherwise known as Hitagi End or the Kaiki arc in season 2. It's the end of the second season, and it's essentially the arc where Shinjigahara hires Kaiki to deceive Narago because she wants to kill Koyomi. And this in particular for me is genre. I don't even know what genre the fucking Monogatari series is even in at this point.
Supernatural.
Harem.
Yeah.
It's not a fucking harem. Fuck you and everyone who thinks it's a harem. Fuck all of you.
I don't know. It seems pretty harem-like.
I mean, that's what Araragi is doing because it's a harem.
I mean, yeah.
No, it's not.
No, but he has like 5 girls, though.
No, he has one, and it's established from the very beginning he only has one.
What are you talking about?
He has one main hoe.
Yeah.
He has
But
the
he
only,
has
the only
side
hoe
hoes.
that wants anything to do with him. Fuck you.
Anyway.
My point with bringing this up is that Koi Monogatari is the pinnacle of anime dialogue. Like, I have never seen more well-written dialogue in anime ever, as I saw in the Kaiki arc in second season. Especially the moment in particular is Kaiki's it's called Kaiki's soliloquy. It's a monologue where Kaiki is trying to logic himself into wanting to help Shinjigahara, even though he knows that he wants to, but he can't admit that he wants to. So he has to logic himself into wanting to help Shinjigahara. And it's established throughout this monologue that he does with himself in an airport bathroom. And It's so good because he goes through all of these reasons one by one as to why he should, and he keeps saying no to all of them. And finally, it's I forget the exact reason that he fools himself into believing is right, but he eventually says yes to it. And then all of the dialogue that Kaiki has throughout Koi Monogatari is so well written. He is, in my opinion, the best non-main character in anime ever.
Oh, are you done?
I fucking
are you done with
so
with your dialogue there? Your monologue there, I mean?
Which was a better monologue, that or the Kaiki one?
There's just so much about Koi Monogatari that I fucking love. And I've recently finally got a chance to read it because the official translations are coming out, and it's so well written.
Yeah, that's the main selling point of the Monogatari series is literally its monologue, the anime, and also the light novel series. Like,
yeah, I mean, the dialogue and the monologues in it are just so well written.
So it's
fun to read.
It's funny to me because a lot of people don't like seeing like a giant wall of text when they read something, like, you know, subtitles. I mean, but when I first started watching the show, I was turned off by it, and then I started reading it, and as it turns out, those are just excerpts from like the actual light novel. And it is definitely well written, and it's a very funny show because, you know, it's about a story. It's a show about supernatural, but it's a story, like the Monogatari.
It's a story about stories.
It's a story about stories.
Oh, you mean like fairy tales? Like,
yeah,
what do you
yeah.
call them? Wives' tales?
Is that what it's called? Yeah, it's a show about wives' tales, and it's very well written. It is. It definitely is not a show that I can really describe as, I don't know, mainstream? Is that the word I'm looking for?
I wouldn't
Easily
call it
accessible?
mainstream, no.
It's not something...
Accessible. That's a good word.
It's not a show that someone would just like randomly go into and be like, yo, this is great. It's a show that you got to ease into.
Mostly because you don't know where to start.
Honestly, yeah, it's confusing as
Because
fuck.
there's no season numbers.
Yeah, because stuff is like the overall story of the Monogatari series is told out of chronological order, so you really don't know where to start.
Yeah, but there's clearly a place you're supposed to.
Well, yeah, you should start with Bake Monogatari, but I just the Kaiki arc is so good because that story. First of all, it's the only part of the well, it's not the only part. It's only one of two parts of the Monogatari series that's been animated so far, where Koyomi is not the narrator. This one, which is narrated by Kaiki himself, and Hana Monogatari, which is narrated by Kambaru. But the story itself is about deception because the thing that Senjukahara is hiring Kaiki for is to deceive a god. Like, how do you deceive someone who's all-knowing?
Anyway, I was about to spoil what happened at the end. Anyway, so
don't do that.
Because it's all this build-up, right? And then the ending happens. You're like, yo, what the fuck? Right?
I mean, yeah. But just the dialogue leading up to it is so good. It's so satisfying.
Yes.
And I think that for me makes it a genre-defying moment. I would honestly say that the Monogatari series is probably one of, if not the best anime that's come out of the 2010s.
I agree. I think it's a good show, but it's really hard to, like, how do you describe to someone what the show's about?
I know, right?
And why they should get into it. It's hard to do that.
How do you synopsize the Monogatari series?
Just start them with Bake and be like, yeah, that's it.
Yeah. And then just, if they can get past the toothbrush scene in Nise, they're home free.
God, I forgot about that. Ugh. Ooh, it's cringy.
Now that was a genre-defying moment of ecchi, my friend.
Gross.
Made you think about toothbrushes in a totally different light.
Gross.
And brother-sister relationships. Stop. Yeah, you're right, that the Monogatari series, it's something that's really hard to recommend to someone unless you know their taste.
Unless you know they're a deviant.
That too. If they're a deviant, they're gonna love it.
Explains why you like it so much.
That's all I got to say. Yeah, I know, right? That's all I got to say about the Monogatari series. The Kaiki arc is amazing.
Sho, do you have anything to add to this? Didn't you watch it as well?
Yeah, I have the same opinion. of Monogatari as Evangelion.
Just
no, not the
didn't
same
care.
thing. I have the same general lukewarm reaction to it.
I definitely think it's hard to get
have no
into it
specific-
if you don't if
It's
you're not
okay.
into the
It's
premise.
definitely hard to get into. Yeah, it has some really good highs once you fully get into it, but it is hard to get into.
Mm.
I
All right, John,
I
what
didn't
you got
really.
for your- Oh,
I didn't. Sorry, I didn't really find.
no, I thought you were done. I'm sorry.
I thought it was done too. I didn't really find the arc that you're talking about as particularly one of the best highs of the Monogatari series. I don't particularly remember which parts I found as a high, but I didn't really think.
I bet I know which parts you found the lows.
Oh God, what?
Any arc that's centered around lolis.
Not necessarily. I like Nadeko, even though everyone hates her.
Second worst girl though.
What? Who's the worst girl?
Ogie.
But she's the best girl. That's opposite day, right?
No.
It's definitely
Unfortunately for
opposite
you,
day.
no.
Mm-hmm.
Although I will say I liked Ogie a lot more after the second season of
I don't
War.
understand why you don't like Ogi. God, no taste.
She's so fucking creepy.
That explains
that's-
why you like Kaiki, the Kaiki arc.
Okay, fair point.
I think Ogie's pretty cool, but I mean,
Yay!
anyway.
Good job.
Yeah. John, what do you got for your last one you want to talk about?
So for my last one, I chose Sailor Moon, and
Fighting evil by moon.
Anyway, Sailor Moon is, I want to say, the Western's most favorite magical girl show, like ever, of all time. It's had such a great impact on the West that there's literally shows that are spin-offs, like are based on Sailor Moon, right? You've got Bewitched. I believe that was a show. I was reading this on an article because I was like, you know what?
Are you talking about the show from the 60s?
No, it's it's some fucking. There was a show in the 2000s or something. Winx Club. There we go.
Winx Club?
Yeah, that little.
What does that
Oh,
have
I
to do
remember
with
that,
Sailor
yeah.
Moon?
That the show was inspired by Sailor Moon about having magical transforming girls. Like, I'm not even
I don't
kidding.
even...
Yeah. Anyway, Sailor Moon is a very weird show because when you think of magical girls, you can think of like the modern day, just beautiful little girls transforming and fighting evil monsters, right? Being led by some freaking stupid ass plushie. But
And you don't have to really look far for it. There's at least one every season these days.
and like obviously a magical girl Nonoha, magical lyrical girl Nonoha, is that the series?
Magical lyrical girl.
Yeah,
Nonoha.
that's literally like based off of Sailor Moon as well. Or it's the creators of it love Sailor Moon, so they made their own magical girl anime. Then there's like Shugo Chara and a bunch of other just not
Cardcaptor Sakura.
yeah, but Cardcaptor Sakura is good. Anyway, one thing that sets Sailor Moon
It is. You're not wrong.
One thing that sets Sailor Moon apart from the rest, as I would call the magical girls, is the how independent Usagi is. Or what was her English name? Serena?
Serena was her, because it sounded like Sabrina.
Yeah. So for Usagi, she's it's not your typical magical girl like show because all the women in the show are actually very strong and independent. Tuxedo Mask, the main guy in the show, is always being rescued like a princess. It's great.
Oh, Tuxedo Mask.
It's super funny. But it's just Sailor Moon is such a good show because of how it doesn't just make magical girls just stupid things that are just supposed to be there for being cute. It's like there's actual tough battles. They actually grow up and learn how to like deal with their problems. And I don't want to spoil too much of Sailor Moon because I think everyone should watch Sailor Moon if you like magical girl stuff. But it's not very fluffy compared to other magical girl shows. It definitely paved the way for more like independent, strong women to be the leads of shows.
Have you watched Crystal?
No, I haven't watched Crystal.
Okay.
Have you watched Crystal? Is it good?
No, but my sister started watching it, so I was interested in knowing what your thoughts was.
Oh, see, I haven't seen it because I don't know. I just didn't. Is it a reboot or is it a?
See, I wanted to ask that too. I think it is a reboot.
I see. I don't want to reboot the series. The first one was already so good.
Oh my god, John.
like,
get with the times.
it looks pretty in Crystal, but I mean, if it loses its edge of like, we're strong, independent, need no man type of women.
I wonder if in Crystal they actually fixed the kissing cousins thing. That was the stupidest thing ever. So when Sailor Moon was originally on in the 90s, it had a 4 kids dub, which that should tell you everything you need to know. But they changed. There was a legitimate lesbian romance in the show. I forget it was between Sailor Neptune and I don't know. I forget who it was. But they changed it in the English dub and they called themselves cousins, which made it worse.
Yeah, I don't.
I mean,
I remember this issue because
for an American audience, I don't know. It feels more appropriate.
Oh my god.
No.
Anyway,
row.
looking at you, Alabama. God. Yeah, it's a great show. It's a great like magical girl show. Not only because the magical fight scenes were actually super cool, but just like the character development. It really paved the way for more female leads, I would say, in anime that don't have to be just princesses being rescued all the time.
I will say something about Sailor Moon that it I think more than anything popularized the Mahou Shoujo genre, because there were Mahou Shoujos before Sailor Moon, but none were anywhere near as popular as Sailor Moon ever got.
Definitely, because it's so good. Because it's not just fluffy, like the previous Mahou Shoujo girls, at least the ones that I looked at, they just seem like really plain, boring. Like, oh yeah, so I can transform into a cute girl with a cute dress. Like that's it. It's typically made
with a plushy sidekick.
Yeah, with a plushy sidekick. It was made to just get sales, right? To just appeal.
Is there anything more important than fashion?
No. You're right, Sho.
Exactly.
And there's so many Mahou Shoujos that have come out since Madoka Magica that try to emulate Madoka Magica more than they try to emulate Sailor Moon.
Yeah, because that's the whole like, oh look, magical girls are now about
that edgy Mahou Shoujo.
Yeah, edgy Mahou Shoujo. They're just meh to me.
I mean, I still think that Madoka Magica is a great anime. I think it's a great Mahou Shoujo as well, but it's just the fact that there are far more copycats of Madoka Magica than I think there ever has been of Sailor Moon.
Yeah, definitely.
I would like to see something Sailor Moon like, but it's maybe not teenagers. That'd be cool.
You mean like an adult one?
Like they're in college or something?
All right, so there's this new one about an old lady that becomes a magical girl.
Oh God, no!
It's a manga. It's freaking funny.
Do you read this?
What was
you
that
read
show?
This, don't you?
Mahou Shoujo Ore. There was an old woman that became a magical girl.
Is that the one with the dudes? All the
Yep.
That's the one where they transform into buff dudes.
What?
Instead of transforming into like really fashionable young girls, they transform into really buff dudes.
Yeah, I feel
wearing dresses.
Those are probably Anyway, there's a manga where she's a magical girl, but she's like freaking 75.
Damn.
It's pretty funny.
It's not exactly what I meant, but I'll take it.
She doesn't wear a revealing outfit.
Oh my god. Buck naked grandma.
Buck naked grandma. Sailor Moon is definitely worth your time though, especially if you care about the Mahou Shoujo genre, and you've never watched it.
That's all I got.
All right. Oh, I'm looking forward to this next one because I know that John hates it and Sho loves it.
Speaking of great shoujo anime, Scum's Wish is amazing.
No.
And defined the romance genre for the better for ages to come.
Scum's Wish is literally, isn't it called? It has trash in the name of the show, man.
Yeah, Kuzu.
It's literally trash.
Kuzu.
Can you like a show that's literally trash?
It's the wish of the trash.
Yeah, I don't care.
The trash wish.
I mean, look at the person who says he likes it.
Yeah. Wow. Fuck you too, bitch.
All right, go ahead. Tell me how this revolutionized romance.
Hunty, I hate romance, and I like Scum's Wish. Romance is boring and annoying, and all these women, all they do is nothing. All they do in romance anime is be like, will he, won't he? Oh my god, does he like me in this dress? Oh my god, what is happening? Oh my god, I don't know if I should confess to him, blah, blah, blah. All in your head, bitch. Like, that's, like, interesting for a little bit, but, like, I can't deal with it, honey.
It's
repetitive, it's boring.
That's literally the appeal of romance anime. The fluffy fuwa feelings, you know? The little butterfly.
Mofu.
No, not mofu.
Disgusting. You're disgusting.
You're...
What I want is some tears, some blood, some pain, and that's what you get in Scum's Wish. You get knife to the heart, metaphorically. This is not a spoiler. But you get knife to the heart. You get fucking scissor to the face. You get destroyed. And that's...
I mean, if this were school days, you get a knife to the chest, the heart, the face, the stomach, the thigh, everything.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Scum's Wish.
And that's how I like my romance. Painful, and you regret it. And that's a beautiful time for me.
Yeah, I would definitely.
Don't you agree?
I would definitely say that Scum's Wish is so trashy that it definitely is like not your typical romance. It's trash. It's trashy romance, and that's okay.
Okay,
for
no,
some
but like
people.
seriously, what didn't you like about Scum's Wish?
Of the first 2 episodes.
Oh,
Or
you
is
only
it-
watched the first 2? I don't even remember what happened in the first 2. But okay, what didn't you like?
It's just trashy, man. It's not what romance is
Okay.
about. It's not butterflies in the stomach where you want to vomit rainbows.
So my personal opinion on this is I thought that one thing that Scum's Wish did really, really well in terms of romance is it painted a picture of romance isn't always sunshine and rainbows. Like, some people get hurt in the course of romance, and it's not always pretty.
Oh yeah, it's definitely
And
realistic.
also, Go ahead. What did you say?
It's definitely realistic, and that's why I didn't like it, because I don't go to romance
Wait,
anime.
what?
That's...
That is exactly why I liked it. I'm like, I'm tired of all this bullshit. I wanted to see this bullshit. Tell me the real shit. And I got the real shit from Scum's Wish.
No, when I go read my shoujo manga, it's because I want to heal my broken heart. Okay, I don't need this. I don't need
I
real
thought that's
life.
what you went to Senko-san for.
I don't need soul-crushing, like, depression. God.
See, I'm the opposite. I like need soul crushing depression all the time.
Anyway, this
From
is why I would agree with you. But this is also why I consider it trash romance, because it's terrible. It doesn't heal your heart. It just breaks it.
Yes, break my heart and my bones and my mind.
Oh.
No, I
Yes.
am not
Every
an
day.
M. No, thank you.
I am.
Mm.
Hit me up, all you S's out there.
Oh
You
my.
can contact us at our email.
I am not setting up hookups for you through the email account.
Why not? You're such a bad, such a bad friend. God.
Now, Alex, did you?
You set up your own personal hoe account
Oh
for that.
God.
Showthehoe@gmail.com.
Show the hoe.
That is not an address yet, but it may become one. Stay tuned. In the next episode, I will confirm whether that address is open for business.
Oh, it'd be funny if that's already taken.
Oh, God.
Probably is. Pretty short.
Show the hoe at gmail.com.
Showthehoe@gmail.com.
Anyway, Alex, did you watch Scum's Wish?
I did. I've also read the
Oh.
manga, which I know that Show hated vehemently. Although I will agree with him, the art in the Scum's Wish manga is pretty terrible. But I'm of this opinion that I don't think it's necessarily revolutionary in terms of romance, but I do think it's very realistic in terms of romance, and especially in terms of the fact that people do get hurt in the pursuit of romance, which is something I thought it portrayed very well.
I think that the characters are way more complex and way more realistically complex than you would expect in romance. And it's just so no bullshit. Like, this is the real shit. And
It's also worth pointing out that very few of the characters in Scum's Wish are what most people would consider good people.
But the thing
Like, they
is,
have
like,
ulterior
no
motives.
one's. I feel like no one's a good person, and like they're just being honest with themselves. Like you could have the same characters and show them from a different light where they look like nice people. But the thing that Scumwish is like, you go deep into their psyche, and you're like, no, the real reason I do this is because I'm a shit person. And I'm like, I believe that. Like, I believe real people think that. Because, girl, I think that too. So.
I don't
know. I don't think that most people who do bad stuff think that they're... Some probably do, but I don't think most people who do that think while they're doing it, I'm a bad person.
Yeah, I definitely don't think people
what I'm trying to say is that no one's a perfect person. Like, that everyone has problems. Or, like, everybody has...
I certainly think that people look back and with regret on certain things for sure, but I think a lot of people who are genuinely bad people like sociopaths and psychopaths, don't do bad stuff and in the middle of it think, well, I'm just doing this because I'm a bad person.
Well, that's not what I'm saying.
Okay, so hold on.
I'm not saying they are.
Hold on.
What?
Before I lose my train of thought, I'd like to point out that the difference between a sociopath and a psychopath is that a psychopath doesn't think that they're wrong. A sociopath they might think they're wrong, but they just don't care.
They just don't care.
So just want to make a difference here. That's all I got. Go ahead, Joe.
True.
Anyways, everyone makes decisions, actions that they know are wrong, but they make them anyway at some point in their life.
Yeah.
Whether they admit it or not, they've done it. And that's all I'm saying. And I'm saying that Scum's Wish zooms in on this fact and be like, yeah, this person, they're a good person, except, this part of them, they're doing shit. Which I'm like, that's real. Everybody does shit. I can get on board with this because I feel like you're being real with me. I feel more connected to these characters because I feel like they're being real with me.
All right, but keep your
I would agree with
reality out of my fantasies, okay?
Wow. Just because I can have a deep connection with a fictional character doesn't mean you have to judge me, okay?
I'm just saying. I go to anime to escape real life. I don't need this bullshit.
All right, well, I will finish up with the last one that I want to talk about, and that is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 3, Stardust Crusaders. Now, I'm kind of talking about the manga in particular, but this also, what I'm going to say applies a lot to the anime as well. JoJo's anime in general is really, really great shonen anime. And the manga in particular, I would say, is pretty genre-defining, if for no other reason than so many shonen mangaka now try and copy parts of it. Which JoJo's also copied what came before it too, because there's a lot of stuff like Fist of the North Star and shit like that in JoJo's.
So I think JoJo's has definitely
ahead.
left its mark on society. Look at how many anime and manga make references to JoJo's, right? That's even a meme, right? Is that a motherfucking JoJo's reference?
Is that a JoJo's
Literally
reference?
at work, I saw a dude with a fucking JoJo's cap, and I like passing him during lunch. I was like, "Is that a motherfucking JoJo's reference?" And then I posed.
I mean, hell, even the phrase "to be continued" is almost a JoJo's reference at this point.
It's a meme too, but I would definitely say that JoJo's is a good shonen. I do enjoy watching it because it's hype. The battle scenes are hype, but one thing I really don't like is like the Araki's sudden use of like death is something I don't really appreciate in JoJo's. Like it's just happens so quickly and suddenly.
Yeah, he has a habit of like with no death flags, no nothing, just unceremoniously killing characters.
And that's something to me like there's no build up. There's nothing that it's just like, oh, that person that you like dead. Like, oh, okay.
I would agree kind of about that it's overused, but at the same time I feel like it's kind of realistic in terms of what they're doing in the story, because they're going, obviously it's about the story of JoJo's is about people who go and fight other people, so there's a chance that someone might die in the course of it.
It's just a lot of the scenes are just like it just happens very quickly. The pacing to me is a little bit off. Like it's just like suddenly and then approach and then fight and then suddenly we're moving on to the next thing. It's not paced very well.
I would say that's more true of the early parts than it is so much the latter parts.
As you know,
especially part 8. Part 8 has dragged on so long. It's like it's having the reverse problem. Like stuff is taking far too fucking long.
So I've only seen I've only seen part 1, 2, and 3. Well, I read part 3.
Yeah, and you've read all of part 3.
Yeah, I read 3.
Yeah,
and I've only seen 1 and 2. I did not read those.
Yeah. I specifically mentioned part 3 because that's where stands are introduced.
Yeah, that's where it gets hyped.
And I think that's where JoJo's went from being a pretty good shonen to a fucking great shonen. Because it's from that point on when nothing makes sense anymore, and it's like, all right, let's just throw OP after OP after OP character at everybody. And it's fun to watch. And the great thing about the stand battles in JoJo's from part 3 onward is it introduced a degree of strategy into the fights, because before, when they were fighting with Hamon in parts 1 and 2, it was basically whoever was better at using Hamon and whoever was physically stronger would win, which always turned out to be the main character, surprisingly enough.
Yeah, awaken my masters.
But there was awaken my masters. Wamu! But the stands introduced a degree of strategy that I don't think prior to that, at least in shonen manga, had really been a factor. Like, shonen manga before then had always been about, well, who can produce the biggest landscape-reducing fart? That's the person that's going to win.
So, in the early beginnings of JoJo's, it just seems like it borrows a lot of the "omae wa mo shinderu," then "nani?"
Yeah,
like it does that a lot.
Well, especially with Joseph Joestar saying, "Your next line is."
It just, I definitely think the part 3 gets really good. It's way better than part 1 and 2, even though I love part 2 a lot.
You love it because it introduces the best JoJo.
Yes. Yeah, it's tough to recommend this to people because it's super over the top, right? Like that's the appeal of JoJo's. That's why it's been has a lasting effect on pop culture, because it's so over the fucking top. But once they introduce the stand battles are fucking awesome.
And they just get crazier and crazier as the series goes on. And to where you get to the point where, like, in part 5, which is the current anime adaptation that's going right now, it's like you literally got someone who his stand power is that he can turn concrete and gravel into liquid and swim through it.
It's fucking ridiculous. I mean, not as ridiculous as, literally deleting time, but
well, I didn't want to go that far because
this is bullshit, Araki.
Or resetting the entire universe.
Oh god, JoJo's.
But I don't know, just JoJo's is I would recommend it to someone who likes crazy stories and has a thing for old school shonen.
Is that?
I think it's great for someone like that.
Yeah.
But part 3 is just I picked that specifically because that's like the moment in the manga where it went from being great to sort of shonen genre defining.
Yeah, it definitely becomes a lot more exciting and hype, and it starts getting away from the whole omae wa shinderu type of plot development. Is that?
But
yeah.
It's also worth mentioning that JoJo's sort of transcended manga and anime and Japan in general because it's actually influenced fashion designers too. Like when you see like fashions going down Paris walkways that are literally inspired by outfits you see in JoJo, it's like, yeah, this is transcendent culture.
That really has to do with Araki just borrowing from Vogue, right? When he first started doing the posing, he just started borrowing everything.
When he started doing
Vogue
poses.
It's super funny.
And then like Gucci approached him to do a crossover.
Actually, really?
Yeah. There's a spin-off manga with Rohan, who's a character in part 4 called Rohan Goes to Gucci.
What the fuck?
It's fucking amazing.
Oh god, JoJo's.
And like there's even like a lot of actual fashion designers are mentioned. Like there's a lot of characters in JoJo's that wear like name brand fashion stuff. So it's really cool to see. And JoJo's is another thing that it borrows so heavily from cultures outside of Japan, and that's something that you don't see a whole lot either.
Yeah, JoJo's is definitely unique.
Yeah, that part in the manga I think is probably the most genre defining in terms
It's also the most popular because literally every JoJo's references is about part 3, right?
Most of them are. There's a couple that are from part 4 and part 5. Part 5 manga is the most popular in Japan.
Really?
Followed very closely by part 3.
It's probably because of the bullshit, Araki.
Yeah, this is bullshit, Araki. All right. I'm assuming, Show, you don't have anything to say about JoJo's because you don't like it.
Nothing positive now.
Okay. Well, fuck you anyway. Go watch Scum's Wish, you pleb.
Exactly. Ugh.
At least I'll get fucked in Scum's Wish.
Well, you get some gay Italian boys and JoJo's. On that note, thank you out there for dropping in to listen to us. We hope you enjoyed it because we always enjoy bringing this stuff to you. If you want to check out previous episodes of the podcast, you can find us on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, and now Spotify. Thank you, John. If you want to keep up what we're doing, you can join us on Discord, Facebook, Twitter, and our website. Be sure to shoot us an email if you have any questions or if you have any topic ideas you would like for us to cover in the future. Links to all of these things will be down below in the description. As always, I have been your host, Alex, and I will see you next time. Say goodnight, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Meow.
Meow. What are you, cat now?
Don't assume my species.